Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's a little weird. What's good, y'all? It's Jayan, and I wanted to make this video today to be of a bit more, I guess you could say, personal talk, I guess, with you guys. I want to talk about a lot of things I've been seeing lately, a lot of different cultural things and shifts that I've been seeing that I'm not only happy about, but also kind of seeing that move away towards, I guess you could say, conventional things. I'm going to get into that. But before I do, I want to talk a bit about my own expertise, I guess you could say, or own professional career. I'm a buyer and I've done a lot of buying, but I've also, been involved in a lot of retail and sales and whatnot. And I would say that I'm kind of good at this stuff, kind of good at seeing the trends within different, cultural relevances in different industries and kind of predicting where the consumer is going to go. And I say that because as a consumer myself, and as someone who is invested in a lot of different cultural things, depending on how people buy and data and whatnot, you can kind of see the shift that people are starting to take, and I think it's very interesting. So what I want to talk about is going to be more how I see the kind of shift that people are having into a lot of different smaller brands and smaller industries. And I say this because I'm a gamer. I don't say this only because of this, but I say this because of something that I have noticed and I have seen. I'm a gamer, and last month was the Video Game Awards. I'm not sure if any of you guys watched it, but pretty much a lot of different indie developers and a lot of different smaller studios completely swept the awards. And I know you're probably going to say, Jan, what does video games have to do with the fashion industry? They're not going to be completely related, but at the end of the day, they do have very big cultural relevances to them. A lot of different designers are inspired by video games. A lot of things in our world are inspired by video games. And video games are also directly, inspired by a lot of fashion and a lot of different things in our world. Just in general, they push a lot of culture, especially because a lot of different memes are of video games in general. But that's getting off topic. But at the Video Game Awards, they were completely swept by smaller studios and smaller developers. And if that's any indication, it is an indication that people want their time and they want their money to be respected now. Or not now, but are shifting towards that mindset. I feel like we live in a country where things are getting more expensive, unfortunately. So people are going to go for the things that are going to give them more bang for their buck and are still going to be, low enough price. And then another thing that can be also related to what happened at the Video Game Awards is a lot of different bigger celebrities, influencers, whatever the case is, they're also showing off a lot of smaller brands as well too. I've see this kind of shift into a smaller designer and a smaller brand itself because of not only because of their story and their ethos and what they bring to the table, but also because the bigger brands in general are kind of just like taking advantage of people. And I say this because in my opinion, there's no reason why a bag that costs $50 to $100 to make ends up being on the market for over $4,000. Like, you're spending $4,000 literally just for the name. And it's crazy to me because these bags don't cost much to make. It's kind of insane to me. And as someone who also owns bigger brands as well too. I mean, a lot of people own bigger brands. That's just the reality of the world we live in. But people want more of their money to be respected and want themselves to be respected as well by these brands. In my opinion, this entire video is going to be strictly my opinion, but in my opinion, the people who impact culture the most are people like you and me. You know, I know a lot of people follow different celebrities and whatnot. They see, you know, celebrities wear different things. Don't get me wrong, celebrities help influence the culture, but what really pushes the culture, what really drives the culture are going to be everyday people. I see this shift going into smaller brands and what they have to offer, and it is very interesting to me. It is very interesting to me because we as a society have, when you continuously buy a big brand so much for so long, you're going to think that it's a norm for you. That's just, unfortunately, just how we think. That's how I was as well too growing up. You know, it wasn't until my adulthood where I'm like, okay, I want to try different things. And it takes a lot of courage to get to that point in life where you're like, you know, I want to do something different. I want to do something to break out of this, I guess you could say, cycle. Let's try something different. That's kind of what I want my whole Let Me Put You On series to be about. I want people to try new things. I want people to try things that they wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards at first, but once they try it, they really like it. There's a beauty in trying something new. There genuinely is, in my opinion. There's a beauty in experiencing something you have never experienced before. It gives you a sort of enlightenment. There's a beauty in wanting yourself to be respected, and also wanting your money to be respected and your time. Us as people, if you're watching this video, you probably might be a consumer, whether it be in the fashion industry, the tech industry, the video game industry. Speaking of the tech industry, I've seen the pivot towards smaller brands in the tech industry as well because of the rising prices. Again, off topic, but when I see this pivot towards smaller brands, it really makes me appreciate this culture more, and it inspires me because there are so many brands in the world that, in my opinion, do great things that are better than a lot of fast fashion brands, a lot better than a lot of big brands. There's a lot of smaller brands that move the needle, and it's just fascinating to see this pivot towards things that just appreciate us as consumers, appreciate us as people in general. You know, in my opinion, the fascinating part about brands, and it could also be related to the video game industry as well too here, because a lot of brands have this story behind them, have this ethos and this way of doing things that they go about. And it's because of these stories that we get invested into a brand. It's because of these stories where you're like, okay, maybe I'll try another piece. And in the same way with the video game industry, there's a lot of lore in video games in general. Even the most popular video games have lore to it that grab people to it, that bring people in. And I think that is what is important about a brand, that story that just pulls people in. It's kind of like watching a really good TV show that pulls you in and just does not stop. If you haven't seen that show, watch it. But there's something beautiful about seeing this new shift in culture. And there's something beautiful about seeing people try new things. There really is. And I'm completely fascinated by it. Since we're on the topic of smaller brands, I want to talk about a few pieces from smaller brands that I've been eyeing. The first piece I want to talk about is this beautiful Comwear shirt. And as you guys know, I love Comwear. That brand speaks to me for sure. But there's this beautiful Comwear shirt. It's a Comwear kintsugi shirt. It's a shirt. Well, if you don't know what kintsugi is first, kintsugi is a method of repair for pottery, I believe, or I think it can also be used with glass. I'm not 100% sure. Don't completely take my word for it. But kintsugi is a method of repair where it kind of looks like the pieces are glued back together. Like if it's something that's completely shattered, the pieces look like they've been glued back together. Well, they have been glued back together, but you can still see the cracks. It kind of gives it a beautiful kind of imperfection look to it. Something that's not fully together, but is fully together, if that makes any type of sense. I hope I'm making sense. But the Kamura Kintsugi shirt, it's a really beautiful shirt. It's a shirt that I feel like kind of pushes a lot of cool design forward. And I'm strictly talking about menswear design, because women's wear design, in my opinion, blows menswear out the water. Women's wear design is a lot more beautiful than a lot of menswear design, in my opinion. And I wish a lot of menswear design would be more experimental, but unfortunately, we live in a society where men ain't the most experimental. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, so the Kamura Kintsugi shirt, it's a beautiful shirt. Looks like it's been repaired, but that's the design of the shirt. That's one piece that I'm eyeing, and I'm really hoping I can get it. Another piece that I've been eyeing is this Professor E. Professor E is a brand from Taiwan. Professor E really does some really unique and cool designs, in my opinion. But the piece that I'm looking for, or looking to get eventually, is going to be this Professor E waxed parka. I don't think I've ever owned a parka in my life, but lately I've been kind of eyeing some parkas, and just the design of some parkas. I think they're really cool. But the Professor E wax parka is this really nice looking fabric. I believe it's made of denim, if I remember correctly, but it's like a waxed look on it. And if you've ever owned any waxed clothing in your life, you can see how the waxiness wears over time. It gives it like this nice rugged rock star look, in my opinion. I think it's dope as hell. But the material, I'll see if I can get a close-up of the material. I feel like the material would wear so nicely over time. Like, genuinely. My comments on leather and how leather wears over time, I love it. But I feel like this specific denim, the waxy denim, wears similar to leather, not exactly as beautiful as leather, in my opinion, but it still wears really nicely. And I can't wait to get it, just to see how it wears over time. And then the third piece I want to talk about is something that I actually have ordered already. I'm just waiting for it to come in. It's going to be this Somar Ghillie Bomber. Somar, I've noticed, is a brand. It's another YouTuber brand, but it's a brand that is really inspired by a lot of video games. And I think it's really interesting, the play on video game lore and culture, how this brand designs it into their clothing. The Somar Ghillie Bomber is a bomber that's inspired by a lot of Modern Warfare games, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2. It's inspired by that ghillie suit look. And what it is basically a bomber, but it's covered in like this fishnet, if you could say. I guess that's the best way I can explain it, because I don't have it in yet. But it's covered in this like fishnet, and over time the fishnet is meant to tear, it's meant to rip, it's meant to give it that, worn in look. And I think that's beautiful. That age over time is gonna make it look beautiful. And I can't wait to get that bomber in, because I know I'm gonna style that bomber in so many nice ways. And I will eventually make a video about it. All these brands as well too. I'll maybe do a let me put you on video series about videos about. And the reason why I want to is because I want let me put you on not only to be a series where I show you I put you on to brands that you may have not heard about, but it's also to show you pieces from the brand. A lot of these brands that I like, and a lot of the brands that I end up investing in, they can be a bit expensive, totally honest with that. But I want you to see these pieces, and if you're considering it yourself, you can see these pieces and you can see how it wears over time. You can also see just how it looks on someone and just how it looks in general. A lot of expensive pieces. There's not, especially from smaller brands, there's not a lot of videos about them on YouTube and whatnot. So when I see these pieces, I want to show people how it looks. I want to put people on. And, you know, at the end of the day, let me put you on. I want to turn it into a series where it's more research based, showing off, like, you know, the history of these brands, the story of these brands, going over things that, if I'm being honest, might kind of pull you in. And then not only that, show you the pieces from these brands. So these pieces can be shown in a full nice light, or can be shown in a way that you might like to see. You can see it on an everyday person. We're all everyday people at the end of the day. And I feel like we are the ones that push this culture. We are the ones that move the needle and make what's cool, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people tend to think that a lot of celebrities are what makes things cool, or what are the ones that have cool pieces on. Yeah, they do, but at the end of the day, most celebrities have stylists, and most just well-known people have stylists. A lot of these people are very busy in their real life, so they don't have time to think about what they're going to wear. So they hire a stylist, so that stylist can help, you know, get that out of the way for them. And, you know, a lot of these stylists are everyday people like you and me. They're not, you know, heard of like that. They're not very well known, but they're just everyday people like you and I. So these everyday people are what impact the culture, in my opinion. We have a lot more power in what's cool, and we have a lot more power in just buying power in general. We have a lot more buying power than we think. And if we kind of shift our mindsets towards brands, identities, and people that just respect us as consumers, respect us as people, respect our time, I think we'll find a lot more inspiration and a lot more love in life, genuinely. If you guys want to start a little discussion in the comments, I'd love that, because I love talking about this stuff. I'm passionate about this stuff, and I like, you know, talking with similar-minded people. You know, thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you guys for watching all of my videos. I really appreciate all the love. I really appreciate the nice and kind words you guys tell me. If you really like this video, just leave a like, and that'll help me out. If not, it's all good. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. This is Jayan. Thank you guys. Peace. Nah, bro, let's just go to free agency.
Stop and go. I've been on this road steady walking, hundreds of miles by the day. Everything's worth it when it comes to you. Yeah, stop and